Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider podcast, sitting here literally at the 50-yard line. Uh, the game's over, went down to the um, bowels of the stadium, talked to Pete, um, talked to Gino. We talked extensively with a bunch of players. We got Max video up, we've got Gino video up. Um, Brock Bowers video up and Pete Carroll video up. Want to talk about this game. I think there was, I said to you, if they lost tonight, I don't see a way that they win in Denver. Now watch, they'll go win in Denver. But this was a very tough loss for the Raiders tonight. But I'm going to tell you, they did look improved coming out of the bye week, which I think was very, very important. I thought it was really weird. The first half, the offense looked not good. Chip Kelly did not come out like he had adjusted in the bye week. And quite frankly, I thought Chip Kelly's play calling in the first half was atrocious. Um, that said, I thought it was extremely good in the second half and even in overtime. So progression there. At one point early in the second half, they had 21 passes by Gino and seven rushes, I think, seven rushes by Ashton. That's just unacceptable. Period. Unacceptable. But again, he responded, and so did the offense. Let me pull this up real quick. And they end up losing the game 30-29 um, in overtime. Now, I want to go to, because you guys know I'm not a revisionist. I don't operate that way. I was down in the bowels of Allegiant Stadium at the end of the game, and Pete went for two. And I made the statement um, in front of the media that whether Pete got it or not, I 100% agreed with him going for two. And I have three reasons why. Number one, your franchise's motto is just win, baby. Number two, um, I think it would have been a massive injection of excitement into the team, which is not a good team, but they're fighting. They could have quit multiple times tonight and didn't. And if you lose, you keep your draft position, which, let's be honest, this season is not about this year anymore. And so if you lose, great. You keep in great position for high draft picks. And it's not just the first overall. I mean, right now, it doesn't appear there's a Peyton Manning in this class. But a lot of people only think about their second round picks and third round picks. And remember how poorly teams draft. So now all of a sudden, I mean, you could have a third round pick and pick up a player that you got on your board as a first round talent. So it's a really, really big deal. It's an enormous deal. So I was all for that. Brock Bowers was simply outstanding tonight. I mean, he had 13 targets, 12 catches, 127 yards, um, uh, and three touchdowns. Ashton Genty, 13 carries for 42 yards. Too low of a number. That number needs to be closer to 25. That's an atrocious number. If I'm Pete Carroll bringing in, forget waiting till tomorrow because you got a short turnaround. I'm telling the coaching staff to meet me back at headquarters, and I'm looking at Chip Kelly and I'm asking him, what are you thinking? God bless you. Your second half play calling was excellent. Uh, Overtime was excellent. Had no issue with anything Chip did there. But that's atrocious. It's unexcusable. After the first drive in the second half, I thought he was excellent. But Ashton, pass receiving, 5 targets, 5 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. So you had Ashton involved in 18 plays. Again, it's not high enough. You want a minimum of 25, in my opinion. and the opinion of people around the NFL that I respect. I am going to say this. I owe Gino an apology. And I'll say it publicly because I'm more interested in being correct than looking good. Um, he threw an interception, and from my angle in the press box, it looked like it was a bad throw. However, after I was able to rewatch partial game film and talking to personnel, Michael Mayer was supposed to make a cutback on that play to come back to the ball and didn't. That's why it got picked off. So that wasn't on Gino, and I owe Gino an apology there. I thought Gino excellent, 29 of 39, 284 yards, sacked twice, but he had 4 touchdowns. Again, the INT wasn't his fault, and his quarterback rating was 118. Tremendous. Now, Devin White had like 16 tackles, and Darian Porter had 10. Those are your 2 leading tacklers. That's terrifying news when your linebacker and defensive backs are your number 1 tacklers. Not so much your linebacker, but your secondary. That's a very, very big deal. I thought there were several things that came out of this game, though. There, let's just talk about one that was terribly depressing. 43 minutes of possession for Jacksonville to 27 for the Raiders. And that's because of the abysmal first half play calling. 15 minutes more. It means they played an entire extra quarter because you didn't play call in the first half very well. Extremely disappointing, especially when you look at how well the second half and overtime of play calling was. That was really good. So the Jekyll and Hyde just doesn't make sense to me at all. Again, the issues with tackling was not good today. I don't know if that had to do with the bye week where you're not doing any contact. I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to talk to some people about that. Special teams, the return game was great. Nothing else was. Daniel Carlson does not look like the Daniel Carlson of old. I don't know if he's injured. I don't believe he is. He's not showing up there, but something is off kilter, and I'm going to talk to him about it this week, and I'll get you a report probably Tuesday. I would assume Wednesday at the latest, but one of those. The team will fly up Wednesday to Denver. I'm going to go up Thursday morning, but that's kind of where all this rests there. The good, and there was good here. I'm fully anticipating that the Raiders are going to draft a quarterback if one that they like they're able to get to. I fully expect them to draft a quarterback. However, this was Gino like the first and the third week. And when Gino's like this is hopeful. This is okay. This is a guy that can mentor a rookie next year and help a rookie to develop. Number 1. But he was outstanding. Number 2, Brock Bowers is everything that you thought he would be. And he just put on a show tonight. He was the best player on the football field tonight, period, for either team. And Ashton Jeanty just continues to demonstrate why Chip Kelly isn't using him the way he should. And by the way, I am telling you, that's my opinion, but I'm talking to people around the NFL asking them, am I wrong? So there you go with that. That is concerning with me. That, to me, is the biggest issue with this team. We knew this wasn't a playoff team. We knew there wasn't a lot of depth. We knew it wasn't the most talented team in the NFL. So none of that's a surprise. And you just took a potential, probable playoff team to overtime. So, and you scored 29 points. So I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Again, no silver linings. This is the NFL. Let's talk trade deadline. The Raiders are making a ton of phone calls. I've heard from a bunch of NFL people that they are being very active at this point. Nothing. Now, anything could have happened since the game was over. Maybe Spy Tech got an idea or whatever. So, but prior to the game, I got the feeling talking to people there was really no imminent deals. So anything could happen because this game may have exposed something. Somebody may have had something happen in their game that now they're willing to pay a higher price for something the Raiders have. So that's why I'm giving you that caveat. But I think the trade deadline will be interesting again, and just how they're going to look. I thought Dante Thornton was left off the he didn't dress tonight. Not a surprise with Tyler Lockett. Mm, we'll just leave it there. You may remember he had a really great camp. And then remember that I think it was a Friday, may have been a Thursday, but a Thursday or Friday, the 49ers came to town. Um, that was when he kind of started to not produce. So we're going to watch that closely. But again, tonight, I just think there was a lot of interesting things that happened. I think there was a lot of reasons. Now, there's some young players that are not producing, and that's just the reality. It's not happening. There's some guys who are. Okay, so you got Brock and Ashton where you're right up there. Jacoby Myers had 6 catches. Excuse me, 4 catches on 6 targets. Trey Tucker, 3 catches. Michael Mayer, 3 catches with 7 targets. I thought Raheem Mostert had a really, really good game. And I mentioned special teams other than returns weren't good. That's not accurate because AJ Cole had a boomer, a boomer, and he looked really, really good. I want to talk about Dylan Labe again, young player, but a special teams guy, just keeps showing up. Let's talk about. I already told you about ball possession, utterly embarrassing. If you're the Raiders, that was utterly embarrassing. But as the team sits here today, I think that if you're a fair person, they're not a good team. If you're a fair person, um, they were better today, and you could see that was very evident that you could see areas that they worked on, not necessarily in the first half. The defense was exceptional in the first half. And then just kind of fell apart in the second half in the overtime. Was really interesting to me. I've seen the Raiders offense get tired, but they didn't look tired in the second half. They just didn't look good. So again, a lot of different angles here. Trade deadlines coming up, short week in Denver. There are some really interesting stories here. I will also tell you that the Raiders are taking a long ball approach. I mean, they've got over 100 million large available in cap space for next year. Over 100 million. I've had a few people tell me they've heard reports about the Raiders looking to extend Brock Bowers. That's not accurate. I mean, he's in the second year of a 5-year deal. So that's not anywhere on the horizon now. But the Raiders are certainly open to big trades. they are certainly open to looking to pieces that would be long-term solutions. Now, they would have to make it fit within this year's cap. So I could see a thing where a big time player becomes available that's under contract for 2 or 3 more years, and the Raiders telling a team, yeah, we're players, we're in, but we got to get to the offseason if they can't make it fit within the cap. So that's going to be, but they are strategically loaded. They've got a credit card with no limit, and they're going to Kohl's with my wife. So there you go. But again, not a win. There's not a silver lining. We're not pretending, but there are certainly reasons for optimism. They didn't lose draft position, young players making plays, and but still concerns with play calling, concerns with special teams, not returns or AJ. Um, some concern about that defense, about what happened in the second half. But overall, I thought it was not a packed house at all. Matter of fact, someone told me that tickets were going anywhere from $25 to $50. I did not confirm that. I'm only telling you what I was told. But there were lots of empty seats, but the crowd that was here was very loud. And it was a really good crowd. So overall, that's the complete recap of the game. There were certainly reasons for optimism, certainly reasons for continued concern, and certainly things that just make you scratch your head because it doesn't make sense. And that shouldn't be the case this far into the season from the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. There you go, everybody. Have a great day. God bless you all.